everybody, and welcome back to ZakIsCinema. Yes, if you just watched my Genesis review, I am wearing the same exact outfit. Thank you for noticing. I do really like this sweater. But yes, welcome back to ZakIsCinema. This is a welcoming home for people that are just so disappointed and lonely that they have nobody to talk to about movies. Specifically, people out there that just have no one to talk to about these Terminator movies that haven't released a sequel in about a half a decade, so I don't know why I keep making videos on them. Either way, ZakIsCinema, come on in. I have an extra stool. I'll move my notes. But yes, people, we've made it to the last Terminator review for right now. Yes, today we're going to be doing a first-time watch review. The first-time watch reviews is this segment that I do looking back on movies that I haven't seen before, watching them for the first time watch review. Very creative, I know. Thank you. Let's just jump right into it, people, because we got a first-time watch review for Terminator Dark Fate. Now, Terminator Dark Fate was directed by Tim Miller. For writers, we got David Goyer, Justin Rhodes, and Billy Ray. Terminator Dark Fate is also starring Linda Hamilton, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mackenzie Davis, Talia Reyes? Sorry, Natalia. I don't know. I have trouble reading, okay? So for Terminator Dark Fate, the plot centers takes place around 25 years after Terminator 2, where the machines send a new Terminator, Luna, back in time to kill our new character, Danny, and at the same time, the Resistance sends back Grace, which is an augmented soldier, back in time to help defend and protect our new character of Danny. This is a first-time watch. Never seen this movie. Didn't see it when it first came out. Like I mentioned in my Genesis review, right around like Genesis and then Dark Fate were like my first couple of years kind of getting into online communities, talking movies, following movie news. This is like one of the first movies that I really experienced like a divisiveness of a fan base like this in The Last Jedi. I was there for it. I feel so cool to be that Redditor. And I just remembered I kept hearing that there was some stuff that they did with John Connor that either made you love it or hate this movie. But that's all I remember hearing. I remember how divisive it was, but I was so curious and interested, really looking forward to when I was watching these for the first time, getting to Dark Fate, just because I remember that initial reaction that this movie had. But let's just jump right into the positives here for Dark Fate. The Rev 9 Terminator villain is pretty great. It sticks with what worked in Terminator 2 with that liquid metal Terminator and just modernizes it and helps elevate it. He's a little more visceral, a little more quick, a little more violent, and with these modern effects, most of them hold up, so he's able to do more, feel more impactful, feel more violent and intense. So I like how they didn't try to completely reinvent everything with our Terminator villain, but did what worked in one of the best action movies ever and then just modernized it here. He's able to do a little bit more because they do have the budget and the effects to really pull off some of that liquid metal Terminator stuff. And when they do pull that off, like with that scene when he's like on top of that semi truck and he's like blasting through the window and you see his skin melt off his like exoskeleton, like you see it in the trailer. Scenes like that, when they pull it off, they do pull it off really, really well. I like how this movie brings it back to our R rating. Welcome back, R rating to our Terminator franchise. I don't know why you stopped. It's R rated again here, people, so they can do a little bit more with our action scenes. It's not like gory or violent. I felt the rated R shift a little bit, if that makes sense. So I'm glad they brought that back. I enjoy a nice fuck tossed around, okay? I do enjoy the things they do with Arnold's T-800 Terminator in this movie. I think they offer something very new and different we haven't seen in the Terminator franchise before. We catch up with Arnold after he's done completing his mission of killing John Connor, which we'll get to. We get to see a Terminator that becomes aimless. He doesn't have a purpose. He has no more mission. Slowly over the years became self-aware and learned through humanity to develop morals. So it's really interesting seeing him here. It's the T-800. It's the dude that just killed John Connor, but then we catch up with him decades later, and he's this family man. And it easily could have came off as so goofy and so stupid, but they really ground it. They made me feel a little bit something with this, because it still sticks with our Terminator themes of humanity and AI technology versus humanity. I love seeing Linda and Arnold back on screen together, and it just really made me wish a lot of these sequels kept them together because they're so good together. This also leads to Sarah inevitably having a great arc as she has to work with the Terminator that killed John Connor in the beginning. The T-800 therefore finds a purpose and mission again, working with Sarah Connor. Like, it comes full circle there. They do a really nice thing about not making it seem goofy, campy, or cheesy, and we get to see something different not only with Arnold's character, but just something different in this franchise that has a purpose. It adds more to our story here, so I love seeing that. Killing John Connor in the first scene, and then also killing our brother character with our new sibling characters in this movie. Both of those happen very soon, early on in the movie, and it just elevates the stakes and intensity in Dark Fate. The Legion army and alien-looking Terminators also helped to elevate this movie a little bit and bring some of that horror roots back to our Terminator franchise. It's definitely more action, but I like how they sprinkle some of that in. Like we were talking about with what they did with the T-800 and Arnold's character, I think just having Arnold back in this movie with Linda Hamilton just brings a lot of heart into this movie. They could do a lot, and I think they both do really good work, and their stories are very good together too. And it really brings a lot of heart seeing Arnold back, and then you get that ending scene when he's like, "For John," ties back to Terminator 2. They do a really good job with that. I wish that was more of the movie. It does wrap up nice. It felt cool watching it. I love seeing them back together. But quite honestly, people, I struggled to find some positives for this movie. I'm a lot more negative on this movie than I thought it would be. So let's jump into the negatives here. Killing John Connor is definitely one of them. Like I have mentioned and been very open with you lovely people watching this, I'm not the biggest fan of John, okay? I find him annoying in Terminator 2. Terminator 3, he's a whiny bitch teenager. And then Salvation, he's cool, but I mostly like him because of Christian Bale playing him. In Genesis, he's a whiny bitch, again, played by Jai Courtney, who's a borderline creeper. We get to this movie and then they kill him off. So I don't have those emotional ties to the character of John. So I totally get why people would hate this decision. Call it the Alien 3 of our Terminator franchise. But then I also get people like me or people that just aren't as high on that John Connor character like I am, kind of liking this decision. But I found myself like right in the middle with this. Like, I didn't outright hate it. I just have a lot of issues with it, but I respect it at the same time. Like, I'm kind of right in the middle, but it did bring this movie down for me a lot. Like, I think it would have worked better if they stuck with doing something different, which we'll get into. But I'm not the biggest fan of John Connor, but basically all these movies have centered around him as being our pivotal main character that this whole thing has been built around. So I find it disrespectful to kill him like they did. No fight, no sacrifice, just murdered at some like beach resort. I've seen people say that intro, like how they de-age everyone, looks really good. I don't know what fucking movie people watch because that shit looks awful. I get what they were going for, and I'm like, okay, I kind of see it here. If we were playing maybe a video game, okay, let's be real, people. This movie's not even old, and it already looks dated with that. The murder of John Connor takes place right after Terminator 2, which for me, it just diminishes that ending a little for me. Like, it subverts expectations, but in a bad way. And I just don't understand the argument that I've seen that this franchise really centers around Sarah Connor, so killing John is not a really big deal and it just adds more to Sarah's story. I guess I get it, but like, do we forget that the only reason Sarah Connor was important to begin with is because of John Connor. They had to save Sarah in the first one because she was the mother of John Connor. John Connor's like the main character pretty much of the second one, and Sarah gets wrapped into it again because she's the mother of John Connor. In Terminator 3, it's all about John Connor. In Salvation, like half of it's about John Connor. In Genesis, it's about John Connor. All these movies, all these themes, everything is always always about John Connor. It doesn't even matter for me since I'm not a big fan of his character. I see that and I'm like, well, that's kind of stupid. You're subverting expectations in just like a lazy way by just being like, bam, I bet you didn't expect us to kill John like that. I'm like, no, I really didn't, because that is kind of stupid. So I don't really get that argument. Sarah's only important because of John, and John's only important because of Sarah. And then you just kill one of them off. So again, this just did not work for me. Like I said, I respect this decision, but I think the way or the reason it brings it even further down for me is I don't mind them killing John off, and I do enjoy how it tries to do something different, but they get cold feet again by switching something up. In Genesis and now this, they like throw a little couple things that are like so different, but then they're like, but we'll just do the same plot again. But like, here's a little couple things different. You're welcome. You guys got to stick to it or don't do it at all, because it sets up something different just to do the same shit again and do John's story and arc and plot again with our new Danny character. Danny now has the same role, same fate as John, and Sarah even refers to him in this movie as the new John. As I was watching, I'm just like, okay, so why kill him off? Just to say that you had the balls to do it, just to be all shocking and create an uproar? You're doing the same shit again. And they do it in a worse way, because even though I don't like John Connor as a character, he's way better than Danny. I had to look this character's name up. I forgot it. I just watched this movie. They do this plot point worse because they don't give me a reason to care about these new people, specifically Danny as well. They set up Danny to make sure her like friends don't die and that she's going to be one of these other future leaders of the resistance. So it's just like, you just kill John off to do the same exact thing but worse. That's what it boils down to, at least for me. We get the same exact rehash plot in this, with Terminators being sent back and an ending we've seen before, letting us know that Legion or like Skynet or whatever the thing is in this one, that it's not truly gone yet. They destroyed it, but they only destroyed it for the battle. The war is still coming. Even the ending is the same thing we have seen before, and I feel like by the time I got to this movie, I was just kind of over it. I'm on that train that did not like killing John Connor. Even though I respect that decision, I think what they chose to do with the story after it not only just made that decision kind of pointless and took the gravitas out of it, but then just to rehash the same things just made it more frustrating. Jumping on that, we got cartoonish, rubbery CGI where many of the action scenes look like Spy Kids movies to me. Like I mentioned in the positives, a lot of the liquid metal Terminator stuff does work and they could do more with it, but when they start doing more is when they run into the issues of it just not holding up very well. And then another negative I had here, kind of a nitpick, because I'm assuming they were going to expand on this if they continued sequels with this new reboot, but Sarah Connor is forced back into this movie because she explains that she received encrypted messages detailing the locations of arriving Terminators coming to kill John Connor. What? That is the biggest plot convenience I think I have ever heard in my life. She just starts receiving messages and they don't explain it at all. Again, I'm assuming they would have fixed that, but still, we're never going to get that, so it hurts this movie. Overall, even just talking about it, like I'm kind of just over this, over these Terminator movies, especially to this point, because I didn't enjoy this movie. It set up a false thing where they're like, hey, look, we're doing something really different here. And I'm like, oh shit, like I don't know about that, but that's pretty cool. And then I spent the next 2 hours watching the same Terminator movie I have sat through many times before now. Just not done as good. Like, it's well made, easy to watch, but the more I think about it, the more I just really don't like it. For my rating for this movie, I am kind of sad here that it takes up room in my box set on my shelf as well. There's no reason for me to ever really want to rewatch it. Despite some of the things I enjoyed, there's more negatives here, and there's just other Terminator movies I can watch and have a lot more fun with. I wouldn't own this movie if it wasn't for that beautiful box set that I got on a really good sale. Thanks, Amazon. I wouldn't recommend this. I would struggle to find a future where I'd be sitting down and watching this movie again. Yes, that's my thoughts, overall thoughts on Terminator Dark Fate. I'm very curious, though, to see what people think about this movie today. Let me know down below what you thought of the movie. Has your opinion changed over time? What do you think about it now? Let let me know. Let me know what you think of the Terminator franchise movies as a whole. Curious to hear that too. But yes, thank you so much, anybody watching these videos. I really do appreciate it. Look forward to more Zach is Cinema coming very soon. Go be lonely. I'll be back for you guys. Don't you worry, okay? But thank you for watching. I do appreciate it.